What would you tell your younger self to get through that fear? How do you get back up?
If you're a real entrepreneur, you really don't have an option not to get up.
Okay, and how do you get your mindset into that?
Listening to things, reading certain things, having great coaches, having great mentors along the way. You're gonna have different mentors and coaches along the way that are gonna serve different needs and purposes. You're gonna have different seasons. And so having people around you that are supportive, and if you don't have anyone around you that's supportive, make sure you're your best cheerleader. You are your best cheerleader. You need to support yourself first and foremost. And you have to get up no matter what, because if you're a real entrepreneur, you really don't have another choice.
Hi, and welcome to Speaker Life. I'm your host, Lea Woodford, and with me today is an amazing PR person. Actually, she is with Luxe Media and PR. Candice Bar is in the house. Welcome to the show, Candice.
Thank you for having me.
So, Candice, what is a luxury media and PR firm?
It's been a wild ride, really, but it's getting people on big stages, a lot of eyes and ears, getting them on big podcasts, the big magazines, the big attention, big exposure. Why would somebody want that? The more attention, exposure you have, the more clients to come in.
So what makes you different than most PR firms?
We work very differently, I would say. So, I've cultivated these relationships through the last 22 years. I've been doing this for 22 years now.
You started it too.
I wish. So we've been doing it for a long time, and I work old school. So it's handshake, eye to eye, cultivating those connections, cultivating those high net worth relationships throughout the years. So we save people a lot of time and energy in reaching out. When we reach out, it's a phone call, it's an email to the person making the decisions for these certain things. So we can get them on the thing or in the thing or with the person they want to be with, starting at the top.
You know what? This is really refreshing because being in the media, I saw when they started bringing in all these young people and they never look you in the eye.
Never.
They don't have any relationship skills.
Yes.
And it's nice to see. This is really very, I want to say vintage. This is old school PR.
Very much so.
Relationship
Absolutely.
based.
Yes.
So you have a Rolodex, except now you're in your phone, right?
They're in my phone, they're in my head. That's why, I work a little bit old school. And I always say my brain doesn't belong in this era.
Yeah.
But that's just how I built the business, and that's how it's always been, and it works for us.
So how does a speaker work with you?
They need to qualify.
Mm-hmm.
And once we decide to take them on, then I love hearing people's wants, dreams, needs. I love big dreams. We've got to do some really cool, big things for certain clients that they never thought would be possible. And we got to help do that for them. And seeing them be able to make their dream come true, that's so fun for me.
Can you give an example?
Sure. One client years ago, her dream, it's very niche, so it's specialty for everybody. Her dream was to not only meet the Pope, but be considered for his medical board because she's a doctor. We helped make that happen.
Wow. Wow. So who's your ideal client?
I like, someone fun, lots of energy. I like a little bit eccentric.
Okay.
I like a little bit interesting. Someone, again, who wants and needs exposure and attention. A lot of people, especially females, we work with a lot of women. They are really good at their craft and what they do, and they've been doing it probably for a long time. They just forgot to get any attention. And so an exposure, and I think it's a childhood thing actually. And so we like to get them in the forefront. We like to get their voices actually heard, actually seen, and stop hiding behind the business.
I see that a lot. That is more prevalent with women,
Absolutely.
wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's old school conditioning. I think the generation coming up is quite different now, but I think back then you were told, let that person go first. Let them do the thing. It's okay. You go behind, you be quiet, all these things.
Children are seen and not heard.
Yes. And so being a female in media and PR for this long is very rare. And because we have the platforms, we have the connections to launch people, I like to really work with women to get them moving forward quick.
Wow, that was really amazing. So tell me, Candice, how did you go from regular PR into this amazing luxury?
I actually don't think we ever did regular PR. We pretty much always have started from the top, and that's what I encourage everyone to do. I actually just talked to a friend recently that I have not talked to in a long, long time. And she reminded me, she's like, you always were in luxury PR. You always were in Beverly Hills, certain areas, doing certain things. So I think that was always the goal, knowing it at the time or not. It just kind of always worked out that way.
So what do you see? I know you're in the speaker world too. What do you see some of the new speakers? What are some of the biggest mistakes you see them making? And what do they need to fix so they can work with somebody like you and to get on the bigger stages?
Speakers and entrepreneurs also. It's, a lot of fear. And even if they're speakers, sometimes it's a fear of being seen in big ways, because I think they think, if I go really big really quickly, what if I fall? Everyone will see me fall. But that entrepreneurship is building the plane as you fly it. So I'd rather start at the top and figure it out when I'm at the top than taking years and years and years and hopefully build to where you want to be. Because if you start at the top, you're going to end up at the top. If you build and build and build, you may not even get there.
Oh, so true. And you say it's something really interesting, start at the top. Don't you find that the people working at the top are easier to work with?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
They're not those PETA clients that are.
They're not trying to negotiate with you. They're not trying, like the higher paying clients are the easiest clients to work with. The most pain in the ass clients are the cheap clients who try to nickel and dime you. And that's a whole other conversation. But they're the loveliest people are at the top. You want to be at the top.
Yeah,
and
you absolutely do.
You want to save your time and energy and money and getting there quickly.
Oh, Candice, I could talk to you forever. So what's it like only working at the top? And what do some of the younger entrepreneurs and younger speakers, what are some of the mistakes that you see them making so that they're not able to leap into the big stages?
It's great for the younger generation. You have to have communication skills. You have to have communication skills. You can't only rely on technology to do all these things for you. So I think that being able to look at someone in the eye when you're talking, being able to clearly communicate your wants, needs, all those things, that's powerful. Being able to get on big stages, for example. The quicker you can do things, I think the better it is for you and your business.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Now, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you made in your career?
I mean, I made so many. Welcome to entrepreneurship.
But you have to be able to be okay with that.
Absolutely. You're going to get kicked down a lot. You're going to get kicked down a lot. And you need to be able to get up. And I've been saying this for years. If you haven't had at least minimum 4 mental breakdowns, you're not an entrepreneur.
Wow, I'm going to quote you on that.
Please do.
So what do you think? What would you tell your younger self to get through that fear? How do you get back up again after you've been maybe not kicked down once, twice, or 3 times? What if it's multiple times? How do you get back up?
If you're a real entrepreneur, you really don't have an option not to get up.
Okay, and how do you get your mindset into that?
Listening to things, reading certain things, having great coaches, having great mentors along the way. You're going to have different mentors and coaches along the way that are going to serve different needs and purposes. You're going to have different seasons. And so having people around you that are supportive. And if you don't have anyone around you that's supportive, make sure you're your best cheerleader. You are your best cheerleader. You need to support yourself first and foremost. And you have to get up no matter what, because if you're a real entrepreneur, you really don't have another choice.
Wow, get off the mat, guys. Great advice. Now, who was your biggest mentor, and who is somebody that, when you think of them, you attribute some of your success to?
I've had many, and they've all been so great for so many different reasons, but I'm going to say 2.
Okay.
For different seasons. One of them was my first mentor ever, Rona George. She was a pink Cadillac driver with Mary Kay, and she was the first person to teach me about mindset. And energy manipulation. And she taught me nothing about Mary.
What is energy manipulation? And can we have some of that, please?
It's really just manifestation, mindset, that type of thing. I think is just another word for it. She taught me nothing about Mary Kay. She only taught me about mindset and energy.
And how old were you?
17, 18.
Wow, can you imagine the impact, hearing that at such a young age? Wow.
And then my second really great mentor was more recently, and a great friend as well, Elena Cardone.
Yeah, we've talked about
Powerhouse.
Elena. She is.
I really love her. She's sweet and strong at the same time, and I really like Elena quite a bit. She taught me a lot.
Wow. Now, what did Elena teach you? She's such a gorgeous woman.
She is gorgeous, inside and out, really. She's lovely. And what you see is what you get. And she's very intentional. hyper intentional, I would say. And I really love that. There's no time wasting here. And I really value my time. And she just taught me more about intention internally and externally, actually.
Wow. So what is one tip that you give our viewing audience about being more intentional?
Be careful where you're spending or investing your time and who you're spending and investing your time with and on.
Wow, that's really powerful. That is really, really powerful. So who is one person in history, living or dead, that you would like to meet if you could go back in time?
Oh, there's a couple. I'm actually going to say, I'm wearing her pin. I'm going to say Marie Antoinette.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why Marie?
I love her. I love her excess. And
Okay,
I like the abundance energy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm sure back at that time, that was really different energy.
Well,
Women were not seen.
That's why she got killed, guillotine, because people didn't understand what was happening. And so if you look back in history on what actually happened opposed to what people thought was happening, they owe her an apology.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting. So what is one piece of advice you would give to a new speaker? Right off the cuff.
Take your nervous energy and use it as fuel to go farther, faster.
Wow, that was amazing. Candice Bar was in the house. If you like this episode and want to see more, please hit the like and subscribe button below.